I'm Daemonxel, and this is your Eve Echoes weekly news update, where we take a deep dive into all the happenings of the week. But first, if you can tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, share and like the video, you can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Now I know I haven't been around much. It's been 13 days since the last video, probably 14 by the time this releases, and there's some good reasons that, unfortunately, a lot of real life issues have been happening lately, such as the transmission blowing up in one of my vehicles, me cutting off part of my finger. That also delayed things a little bit, but no worries about I'm doing better. I'm trying to get everything in a row so I can bring these videos out a little bit quicker, which I know I've been saying that for a while, but you know, we're gonna keep working on that. But let's get into it. Like I said before in the last video, we're going to separate the stuff from the game events and the game news to the community news. There hasn't been a lot of game news lately. There's not really a lot of patchworks going on. The last couple patches were just, you know, bringing the market prices in line, which, as anyone has seen with the compressed plague ore guys, or the compressed ore prices, that hasn't really been working. But we're gonna put that to the shelf. We're gonna go to community news, but first, I know some of you just want to come here to see the update on the little pilot, and he is doing fabulous. He's actually standing up now, not walking on his own, but he's using his hands to pull himself up and to guide himself along. He's got 4 teeth coming in. He's doing very good health. Everything's doing good with him. The only problem I see is him waking up like a farmer at the crack of dawn every day, like around 5 a.m., which is having its toll. But let's get right into the nitty-gritty of what's happening in New Eden, in our neck of the woods, for the last 2 weeks. Well, guess what? The biggest news coming out is that the war between Silent Alliance and Genesis has come to an end. That's right. On February 4th, Zen, the leader of the Silent Federation, sent a DM to Momosaurus Rex laying out terms to develop a non-invasion pact. He goes on saying that he'd like to offer a peaceful resolution to this current conflict with Genesis, and they are offering these terms in good faith and with the desire to ensure that Genesis doesn't collapse under any further due to the conflict with Silent Federation. The terms are as follows. Both organizations' standings are returned to neutral status with one another. 2, the acceptance of a mutual NIP, no attack of structures or bases. And 3, a 48-hour grace period after the peace agreement is met to resolve any standing issues and communicate resolution to the conflict across all forces. And he wanted to know that this offer on the table was only there for 48 hours. When Mama received that, she said that she was very curious about her organization collapsing, basically who stated that, where, and when. She states that she woke up that morning with members of Silent Federation asking to join Genesis, and that there is no collapse imminent that she knows about. Basically, it was just a simple proposal put out. They came to terms, all items were met, so the war is now over. Forces were able to pull out of Silent space, as well as Silent forces were able to pull out of Genesis space, and they currently live with a non-invasion pact. Now, I can't state who won the war, because really there is no winner. It was a war on both sides. Near the end, one could definitely say that the momentum was with Silent, but speculation of Genesis escalating to cap warfare when they undocked those 12 caps, one does wonder if that did play a factor into the whole peace talks. I don't know. And I don't think anyone can know for certain. But both sides got in their attacks. It was a long war, and as quickly as it came in, it went out. So after everything was cemented in that NIP, I went back and reached out to both leaders of both sides to get their post-war statements. Starting off with Zen from the Silent Federation states, what a journey this conflict was. The Silent Federation started out the Gen War exhausted from the exciting 24/7 pace of the Pantheon Coalition conflict. December 1st, 2021, I had the privilege to step into the executive position for Silent Federation. At my direction, we immediately began to work on unification of our various teams across the Silent Federation. The Gen War saw a new level of engagement by our small gang PvP pilots, leading an asymmetrical campaign of destruction, destroying 150 plus player-owned stations. Thank you to our military commander Matera Niker, along with FC leaders Lucas, Joda, Pinky, Soyul, Rifle, Samiki, Folk, Ainika, and Alexander. I am so sorry that I butchered some of your names, but pronunciation is obviously not one of my skills. Continuing. Morale and spirits across the Fed continue at a high level. The dedication and hard work done by the teams across Silent Federation has made me feel proud. The expectation I placed on the teams were high. Everyone delivered. To those unsung heroes like Cleo for assisting our Logi teams, to Bozarth working on military support and logistics, you have my gratitude. It's pilots like these that helped our military teams operate with efficiency and deadly precision. I'd also like to thank my executive staff, FC teams, alliance leaders, corporation CEOs, and of course, all of our pilots. This was a war that was well fought on both sides. With that in mind, I want to take a moment to thank our opponents in this conflict. Eve Echoes is a game of war and battles, communities, and intrigue. The wins and losses were some of the most exciting fights of the game. We have left our indelible mark on history in Eve Echoes. Know that this was a good conflict. To all Gen FC and pilots, I say good fight. Lastly, I know this is a lot of people to mention, and I know there are others that I cannot include in a single statement. Let everyone know here that it's the hard work and dedication of all our pilots and their organizations that have allowed the Silent Federation to achieve the great feats it does daily. Now, I did also reach out to my alliance leader, Mamasaurus Rex, for her statements post-war, and I have yet to receive a statement. I did reach out on the 11th, but again, I have yet to receive a statement on that. So now, post-war, both sides now have to deal with peacetime. Whatever are their PvP pilots to do? Well, some of them are experiencing that well and do have to get used to this extended time of peace, but others are leading roams into vast other areas of space to find new and hopefully challenging targets to find and kill. But with these superpowers, you know that war is always looming in the foreground, so it will only be a matter of time before they find a next worthy opponent. A portion of the Silent Federation has actually done just that. There's been somewhat of a small war between Void and Honk. Now, this all started, and we covered it last episode, where Honk started raiding the last intumescent belts of Void, and Void vowed that they would have their revenge. They did not declare open war, but they did launch a campaign against Honk structures. Now, they do say that Void consumes, and Void, in that time, has consumed 25 player-owned outposts owned by Honk. Now, I am getting reports that this war, which was not a war but is a war, has ended, but that does not mean that Honk hasn't left their mark as well. In true Honk artistic fashion, they did put a photo collage together of all the kills that they scored during that time of this little war. And it tallies up to 270 billion ISK in damages on structures as well as ships that are belonging to Void. So both sides have had their fun. Both sides can claim that they have won objectives. Honk with all their kills and the ISK amount, as well as Void with all their structure campaign bashing. So you ask, what is Silent up to now during this peacetime? Well, they are looking to expand. In fact, they are currently right now in talks with F2 and Dune to accept them into the Silent Federation. Now, whether these talks will produce fruit or not, we won't know. We will have to wait and see. But there is a very good likely that those forces will add to the strength and citizenry of Silent Federation. So let's swing the meter back to the other side of Genesis. What are they doing now in the post-war era? Now, I might not have gotten a personal statement on post-war from Mama Source Rex, but she did leave an announcement on the Gen Discord about the actual war itself. It states that Gen and Silent have signed a mutual non-invasion pact recognizing that an endless sovereignty war at 80 jumps away is not beneficial to anyone. All Citadel aggression will end immediately. All structure and base aggressions will end within 24 hours of this agreement in order for all parties to be notified. We have fought some amazing battles, both wins and losses, and I can't think of a group I'd rather do that than with this one. Exact terms will be posted in information. Of course, we went over those before. You drew your line in the sand, and this was the result. The war began by defending our friends from the horde of enemies that ultimately left us standing before a host of enemies far larger than ourselves and standing alone. We never relented, we never turned to surrender, we drew our swords and faced the onslaught together. Ladies, gentlemen, lemurs, and penguins, we are still standing tall and strong, and that is because of you, so thank you. Thank you for being a part of Genesis and caring enough about it to fight against any odds. To our friends who have joined us and decided to become part of this big crazy family, thank you. You had a choice before you to go find some place of relative peace or stand your ground with us and face fire, and you chose us. Thank you. Now, also in this post-war era, we did see the retiring and leaving of the Genesis FC and fellow content creator Phoenix Tassador, who has moved on to greener pastures and has joined No Please Stop. Now, Genesis, in the wake of this, has also extended their blue circle to include alliances such as Tenant and, as far as I know, SCG, with the breaking of SCG throughout OMIST. Now, from what I gather, it says here that the corporations of OMIST region have lost their alliance leadership some time ago, and they've basically been working without leadership, as well as fighting off attacks from No, Yet, SIXT Alliance, and parts of Silent Alliance. Now, I am receiving other reports that this isn't systematic attacking, more as capital ship hunting for sport. And we're going to get all about the capital ship hunting when we talk about No Please Stop in just a little bit. Needless to say, the corporations and alliances in OMIST have split, some of which granted blue status by Genesis, others have joined Genesis outright, as they were being attacked in OMIST by No One Yet. Now, there was a battle that did take on the 17th. It was System 66 Tech PMM. I'm showing the local number at the height of the fight was around 530 to 540 in local. From what I gather, it was an intense fight with the Genesis as well as the corporations in OMIST winning the grid as well as saving that Citadel timer. I will put a link in the description of a video of the fight itself so that you can watch that at your leisure. Now, I haven't heard from No on their side of the fight because it was No attacking, but I'm showing on the Genesis side a claim of that the No fleet was entirely wiped out. Now, also this also brings in the inclusions of alliances such as Brave Old School, also brought into the ranks of Genesis, or within that blue circle. I'm not 100% sure on that. But with the inclusion of these allies, and if the talks go well with F2 and Dune, we can see both sides becoming bigger and possibly colliding again in the future. And now, even though there is a NIP in place, it does not mean that these two forces have not, again, met on the battlefield. Basically what happened was there is still reds to silent, even though that Genesis is gray, and this is fallout from the Pantheon War still left over. Happy Bees actually has had a battle for their Citadel in System 9D Tech BW1, where silent forces were attacking. Now, Genesis did come to the aid of Happy Bees. However, the forces of silent appeared to be too much to be handled, and the Genesis fleet as well as Happy Bees were pushed off to the side, and the Citadel was taken as victory for Silent. Now, some are seeing this as the war continuing between Silent and Genesis. However, they are gray, and there is a NIP, so there will not be any structure fighting between the two. The same cannot be said for, however, for Happy Bees, who is in current red status with Silent, and their structures will lie in the crosshairs of Silent Federation. Now, our next story actually involves a community that is not a part of this alliance or that alliance. This actually is going on because of real-life politics. That is the Indian community, as India has now closed off any access to Chinese apps or games due to their new legislation. Now, this leaves a lot of Indian players with one of two things. They can either not play, or they will have to use a workaround VPN. But the sad fact is, those who do not use the VPN will be leaving our game forever, which means our numbers will reduce yet again. So to that player base, I do thank you for playing. I wish things were different and you could continue to play. But from Echoes of the Front, I salute you. Now, if you do want to learn more about this, you can check Captain Benzi's channel. He does have a 20-minute long video going into exactly what happened, why it happened, and all the ins and outs of it. In other news, the Mercenary Alliance, the Sixth Seal Alliance, has come under new leadership. In an announcement made by Good Space Guy, it states that after an extensive process, concluding with a vote from Sixth Leadership Council, HISS Perpetua Corvana of HISS Space Snex has been elected as the new president of the Sixth Seal Pirate Alliance. This is likely not a surprise to most of you, but it is an official statement now and to be considered public knowledge. Congratulations, Perpetua. I am confident in your ability to lead this alliance and keep it true to its original character and intent. A place where PvP-oriented pilots can congregate free of rules, obligations, and taxes. It has been a glorious, bloody, and moneyed run, and it is now time for me to pass the mantle of leadership and step down to enjoy a life of heavy quaif consumption and the casual popping of AFK indies, as I have always enjoyed since my clone was first activated. Please welcome Perpetua and defer all Blue Fire issues and questions about PPK percentages to them from here on out. Welcome to the second era of Sixth Seal Alliance. See you on the grid. So I guess we'll be expecting big things from Sixth Seal Alliance and see exactly where they head to under new leadership. Now, No Please Stop in the last 2 weeks has had some real fun in sport hunting. Now, this epic hunt of capitals all started with a huge battle in system T6GY Tech Y, where No Please Stop faced a unsurmountable odds in an enemy fleet. The system number ran up to 616. I'm showing from No's vantage point. Now, the enemy fleet that was facing off against No consisted of 146 battleships, 115 battlecruisers, 47 frigates, 15 cruisers, and 3 destroyers. Now, on top of that, they also had 22 dreadnoughts, as well as 9 carriers. Whereas the No fleet had 1 destroyer, 53 battleships, 8 frigates, 68 battlecruisers, and 5 cruisers. Tahini even stated that he was not sure how they pulled it off, but it all came down to the help of Lycan, the legendary FC from Kofor that had conquered the Chinese server and had come back specifically for this battle. Now, I am going to link the video of this fight as well down the bottom. It shows a number of 120 versus 400 plus, and it's titled The Massacre in T6GY. Now, along with the Citadel kill, they also scored 4 Dreadnought kills and a carrier kill. The daily kill count that they provided me at this time was 477 billion ISK killed that day. Now, for that month, they are already leading at 3.7 trillion ISK in damages. And they weren't done there. In the last week and a half, they went along and also killed other carriers and dreadnoughts. And I'm going to highlight those in the capital kills of the week. But suffice it to say, after their sport hunting, before they killed even more, they've already broken 4 trillion ISK killed in damages for the month of February. And we still have several days left in this month. So, can they break the almighty number of 5 trillion ISK. They have already broken their record, but can they set that record even higher? So what can you do on a night where there's about 11 or 12 of you want to do something, but you don't really have a lot of money? Well, Casper of OG's case, this was no problem. They had several Stabber Fleet issues donated to them for a roam through the Alliance. So it cost them 0 ISK. So they took a roam of 11 or 12 players in about between 8 and 10 SFIs, as well as some light tackle and 1 MOA 2 Guardian, as well as, it looks like from the video, a Hector. Now with these donated ships, they went out, they did a roam, and they killed a good amount of ISK via ships, including an Massacre, as well as several others with high price tags. Now this just goes to show that you don't need large sums of ISK or a tech level 10 or the the fanciest ship out there. Just get in a ship, go out, and have some fun. And that's all that's really needed to make content for yourself in this game. Don't wait around for someone else to put a fleet together for you. Just go ahead and put one together yourself. Go out and have a good time. Because that's what this is. It's a game. It's there for us to have a good time and some enjoyment. And some kills. Alright, now it's time for What the Fit, and that's right, we are back with pilots who spit in the face of bonuses in favor of a wide arrangement of weaponry, such as this Oracle 2 with not only large pulse lasers, but medium autocannons, medium rails, and a small strike cannon. Well, at least there's no missiles, right? But also, here is someone who literally takes the argument of shield versus tank, as they have both on here. And the pilot must be thrifty because, you put out the ISK for the Type 3 rigs for their 2 lasers. However, for thrusters, we only need to throw on the prototypes. But we do have our Wheel of Steel core, don't we? Well, let's move on to this Daredevil, who again knows that ship bonuses are just mere suggestions as we, lose the snubs in favor of small missiles. But that's not the extraordinary thing here. This is a true pilot, living by the seat of their pants, by hull tanking. No words right now, except, what the fit, man? Alright, this week in big kills, Genesis leads us off with 2 Balgorn kills, one at 6.5 million, the other at 7.2. We have 3 Massacre kills, one at 5.9 billion, the other at 5.2, and the third at 6.4. We have a 5.4 billion Nightmare kill, as well as a 5.3 billion Vindicator kill. Brave Old School gives us this amazing, full, B-typed, tricked-out Vindicator at 22.7 billion. No Please Stop gives us a 4.8 billion Orthrus, as well as a 53.5 billion Charon Freighter kill. Happy Bees gives us a 5.6 Vindicator, as well as a 9.1 billion Balgorn kill. Silent Alliance comes in with a 19.6 billion Barghest kill. The SIXT Alliance also has a Barghest kill, this one at 21.6 billion. We also have a 5.2 billion Massacre kill, and I think this may be a first on here, a 21.1 billion Nestor kill. We also have 3 Orthrus kills, one at 10.2, one at 10.7, and the last one at 5 billion. We also have 3 Vindicator kills, one at 8.2 billion, one at 5.9, and the other at 5.8, as well as a 5.8 billion Daemonxel 2 kill. DT-13 gives us a 9.7 billion Rattlesnake kill. Void gives us a 6.4 billion Massacre kill, as well as a 6.8 billion Rattlesnake kill. The Nomadic Nightmares comes in with a 10 billion Daemonxel 2 kill, as well as a 6.1 billion Vindicator kill. Ad Astra gives us a 8.2 billion Balgorn kill, a 5.1 billion Nightmare kill, 2 Vindicators, one at 8.3, the other at 5.6, a 5.6 billion Cinnable kill, as well as a 5.3 Orthrus kill. Now in your capital kills, first we will start off with this 40.9 billion beautiful Thanatos kill, which was killed by rats. Myth comes in with a 48.1 billion Archon kill, killed by frigates. That's right. So just so you aspiring Cap pilots know, you might want to have a firm grasp on mechanics before you jump in one of these. Such as combat timers and the effect they hold on logging off, as it leaves your ship vulnerable to any other ship out there. No Police Stop is truly the kings this week with 7 capital kills, aside from their 5 that they killed in that Citadel fight. We have 5 Nidhogger kills, one at 68.4 billion, one at 47.7 billion, 42.4, 42.7, and 36.8 billion. They also got an Archon killed, valued at 48.1 billion, as well as a Naglfar Dreadnought at 57.1 billion. But they also lost one this week to Space Cows and Company, killed this Naglfar, valued at 69.4 billion. And that's right, now we come to everyone's favorite part of the show, and a chance to win a free Omega combo. Now remember, we split this up into 2 categories, the solo industrial kills as well as the solo PvP kills. We're going to do the industrial first, and Lord Electro starts us off with a 30.2 billion outpost kill. Wild Rose has a 5.9 billion Badger 2 kill. And the winner this week in the industrial side is Eric Redmark with a 9.5 billion Coveter 2 kill. In the solo PvP category, Full Send starts us off with a 1.1 billion Coercer 3 Interdictor. Geohoff Dustwalk gives us a 3.3 billion Garmer kill. Penny TTV gives us a 4.1 billion Cinnable kill. Fiber comes in next with a 4.4 billion Orthrus kill. Zyklon comes in with a 4.7 billion Stratios kill. And Ziggy's Duck gets a 5 billion Stratios kill. But the winner this week and returning all-time Kill Mail Contest champion is Honk's Employee of the Month. That's right, Bad Brand, killing the most tricked out Condor 2 interceptor that I have ever seen. A 15.4 billion interceptor sporting full B types, Predator Scram, and integrated rigs, as well as a tungsten age core. Congrats to both winners. Please contact me via Discord to receive your prize. Now that will do it for me, but if you need more news in your life, I suggest you go over to these 2 channels. You have Sky News, which is Russia's premier outlet for Eve Echo's news. Now don't worry, all the videos will be English subtitled, so go on and check them out. They will always air stories that sometimes I don't get, as well as listen in to Rambo's Echoes from New Eden podcast with full round table discussions, as well as his new host, which makes the show a lot more entertaining and interactive. And that'll do it. So I hope you all have a great week, have a great weekend, fly safe, and remember, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front.